thing that Puffett gave me. He said the Snoop Doggy Dog is what he said he's trying to give me. So I was like, oh yeah, for sure. And he's like, oh, here you go. He's like, now my guy said take four hits and like stop. You know, and we didn't. It was as if I had partied like 3 nights straight. I was doing crazy dance moves to the weirdest music for 20 minutes straight.
And you're dancing naked outside of his window.
In early 2024, long before the headlines turned into a storm, one voice in the entertainment world said something that most people didn't take seriously at the time. Not a journalist, not a lawyer, not a politician, a comedian, Katt Williams. For years, Katt Williams has been known as one of the most outspoken, unpredictable, and brutally honest figures in comedy. He isn't just a stand-up comic, he's a cultural commentator, someone who has never been afraid to call out powerful names, speak on uncomfortable truths, or go against industry narratives, even when it cost him opportunities. And that history matters here, because when Katt Williams speaks, people don't just hear jokes, they hear warnings, they hear frustration, they hear someone who's seen behind the curtain. So when he appeared on major platforms and casually mentioned turning down invitations to certain celebrity parties, including those connected to Sean Diddy Combs, most people laughed it off. At the time, it sounded like classic Katt, a provocative comment, a bold statement, another viral moment. But now, people are listening differently. Sean Diddy Combs isn't just another celebrity, he's one of the most influential figures in music history, a billionaire mogul, a producer, a fashion icon, a gatekeeper. For decades, his name has been associated with power, exclusivity, and a lifestyle that most people only see through filtered Instagram clips and luxury headlines.
Local story right now on the raid on Sean Diddy Combs' LA residence by federal agents. This is a story that we broke here on Fox 11.
Mario Ramirez is outside of his Holmby Hills home right now with the latest developments for us. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Quiet right now, but it was a chaotic scene with federal agents rushing into the home here behind me. There were 2 separate raids, one here in this upscale neighborhood, the other in Miami, both connected to a federal sex trafficking investigation. Take a look. Fox 11 was the first to show you the raid here locally, led by Homeland Security, heavily armored federal agents making their way into the home on Mapleton Drive, associated with rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs and his production company, Bad Boy Films. Dozens of agents searched the property for hours, leaving with boxes of evidence. A similar scene at the Miami Beach property listed in his name as well. The properties raided in connection to a sex trafficking investigation, although Department of Homeland Security officials haven't named Diddy as the focus. The 54-year-old has been at the center of several sexual assault and sex trafficking allegations in the last year. That's something Variety's executive music editor has been covering extensively. Listen.
Been rumors like this for years, for decades, about this kind of behavior from him. I don't know whether they're true or not.
But in 2024 and 2025, that image began to crack. Federal investigations, high-profile lawsuits, allegations involving parties, behavior, and abuse of influence. Law enforcement agencies executed raids on properties connected to him. Multiple civil lawsuits were filed, and the entertainment world watched as a once untouchable figure became the center of a legal and media storm. It wasn't gossip anymore. It was court filings, police actions, official statements, and suddenly, every old interview, every forgotten clip, every past comment was being pulled back into the spotlight.
They don't want you to know shit about motherfucking meth. Guess who discovered that shit and was the first to distribute and manufacture it? Somebody we all motherfucking know too. Adolf Hitler. What? How the fuck did they leave that out the book? They told us the Nazis was the scariest military in the world. But they never told us why. They was not just making the meth, they rationing it to themselves. With the Nazis if you want to. Them motherfuckers is the only military don't need to eat or sleep. As long as they got teeth to scratch. You fighting the Nazis, you look out, they are 750 miles away. We'll see them bitches in 3 days. And you go to sleep. When you wake up, them bitches is in front of the house on the ring cam.
That's when people remembered Katt Williams. Clips from his interviews started spreading across TikTok, YouTube, and X. People replayed the moment where he said he refused certain party invitations, where he hinted that not everything in celebrity culture is as glamorous as it looks, where he predicted that big deviants would be exposed. And now the internet is asking one question: was he just talking, or was he warning? This isn't about proving someone right, and it isn't about jumping to conclusions. It's about understanding why a comedian's old words suddenly feel relevant again, at the exact moment a major industry figure is facing real legal consequences. That's the context. That's the backdrop. And that's why this story isn't just about Diddy. It's about how power, silence, celebrity culture, and delayed truth collide. Before any raids, before any lawsuits, before any headlines with the word federal attached to a celebrity name, Katt Williams had already said what most people didn't want to hear. Not in a courtroom, not in a police interview, not in a documentary. He said it casually, sitting across from Shannon Sharpe on the Club Shay Shay podcast. And that's what makes it uncomfortable. Because it wasn't framed as an accusation, it wasn't framed as a warning, it wasn't even framed as a big reveal. It sounded like a man talking about choices he made to protect himself.
That's what they all end up saying at the end of the day. Kevin told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. My goal was to get this far in Hollywood and still have a virgin asshole and never have sucked the penis. That was my only goal. I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared. What? Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
I did not know. You're telling me and showing me a side of the business.
Katt told Shannon that powerful people in the industry had invited him to parties. Not normal parties, not birthday parties, not industry mixers, the kind of parties that come with expectations. And then he said something that most people laughed at, but nobody forgot. He said Sean Diddy Combs wanted him to party, and he said he told him no. Not once, not twice. He said he refused. When that clip first went viral, people treated it like a joke. Another wild Katt Williams moment. Another meme. Another soundbite. But if you actually listen to what he was saying, he wasn't bragging, he wasn't mocking, he wasn't chasing attention. He was explaining a boundary. He said there are moments in life where saying no costs you opportunities, but saying yes costs you your soul. And he made it clear that he turned down money, he turned down connections, he turned down access. Further, he said he would only go to one of those parties for one reason: not to participate, not to network, not to be seen. He said he would go to see who was there, to observe, to take notes, to understand the real power structure behind the scenes. And when he said that, the room went quiet, because that wasn't comedy anymore. That was a man implying that what happens in those spaces isn't meant for public eyes.
Because we have a different respect. I know I'm coming. They know I'm coming. I know they gonna be there, and they know I'm gonna do the best job I can possibly do. And because I've never strayed from that, they've never strayed from their part.
Then came the line that changed everything. He said that 2024 was the year big deviants would be exposed, that lies would fall apart, that secrets would surface, that people who built careers on silence would finally face consequences. At the time, nobody knew what he meant. It sounded mystical, it sounded dramatic, it sounded like classic Katt Williams. But months later, the entertainment world started collapsing around one name. Here's what matters. Katt Williams never accused anyone of a specific crime. He never named a list of celebrities. He never claimed to have evidence. He didn't testify in court. He didn't release documents. He didn't file a lawsuit. All he did was tell a story about the invitations he refused and the culture he didn't want to be part of. That's it. And yet, the timing of those words is why people are replaying them now. This isn't about proving he predicted the future. This isn't about turning a comedian into a prophet. And it definitely isn't about spreading unverified accusations. This is about something more uncomfortable. What if the industry has always known these spaces existed, but only pretended they didn't? What if saying no really does cost careers? What if staying silent really does buy protection? Because the scariest part of the story isn't what Katt Williams said, it's how normal it sounded. This is the part where most YouTube videos get it wrong, because once a story goes viral, the truth doesn't spread anymore. The remix does. People take one real clip, add 10 fake claims, put a shocking title on it, and suddenly, Katt Williams is exposing people he never even named. Katt Williams never said that Snoop Dogg slept with Diddy. He never accused Snoop Dogg of attending illegal parties. He never linked Snoop Dogg to any criminal activity. That claim did not come from Katt Williams. It came from YouTube thumbnails. It came from comment sections. It came from people chasing views. The same thing happened with Tupac, Nipsey Hussle, Kim Porter, Will Smith. Names were added, connections were invented, timelines were twisted. None of that came from Katt Williams. That came from the internet doing what it always does, turning implication into accusation, turning rumor into evidence, turning speculation into a narrative. Here's the actual truth. Katt Williams talked about being invited to industry parties, feeling uncomfortable with the culture, turning down opportunities, protecting his integrity, and predicting that scandals would surface in 2024. That's it. No names, no crimes, no documents, no accusations. Everything beyond that was added later. And this matters, because once you attach a real person's name to an unverified claim, you cross a legal line. You turn commentary into defamation. You turn discussion into liability, and you destroy your own credibility. Now let's talk about Diddy. What is real? Real. Sean D. Combs is facing serious legal issues. Real. Federal investigations were reported. Real. Search warrants were executed. Real. Civil lawsuits were filed. All of that is public record.
So we just got this new audio from the Diddy trial, and it is pretty explosive. This is audio of a voicemail that Diddy left to the Jane Doe who's been testifying in this trial for the last couple days. And he sounds really annoyed. He's talking about her maybe giving him the silent treatment, and his response is, I got a busy life. I can't be dealing with your silent treatment, and we got to keep it moving. He says, you need to get back on your job. This sounds like a reference to her job being to continue to engage in all these freak-offs with him, and he sounds really pissed off.
What is not real? Claims that celebrities were secretly filmed, that everyone at those parties committed crimes, that specific rappers were involved, that Katt Williams had inside knowledge, that the government is hiding tapes, or the Illuminati is behind it. None of that has been proven. None of that has been confirmed. None of that has been reported by credible media. Here's the uncomfortable part. People don't actually want the truth. They want a villain. They want a conspiracy. They want a collapse story. They want chaos, because chaos is entertaining. Truth is boring. Truth doesn't give you dopamine. And this is why Katt Williams' words are being misused right now. He never said, this person is guilty. He never said, that person is involved. He never said, this is criminal. He talked about culture, power, pressure, silence. But the internet turned it into a criminal scandal script. Katt Williams did not accuse anyone by name, did not claim crimes occurred, did not provide evidence, did not say Snoop Dogg was involved, did not say he witnessed illegal activity. What he did do, talk about uncomfortable industry culture, say he refused party invitations, predict scandals in 2024, emphasize personal boundaries, and warn about moral compromise. That's the real story. And now, we're going to talk about why his comments are resurfacing right now. Not because he exposed someone, but because the industry finally caught up to what he was hinting at. So if Katt Williams didn't accuse anyone, if he didn't release evidence, if he didn't name names, then why is his interview everywhere again? Why are people replaying a clip from months ago like it just happened yesterday? Why does it suddenly feel like he predicted everything?
You ain't gotta worry, because all you gotta do is tell the truth. The truth is crazy enough, you ain't got to make up no shit. I'm gonna say something to you that sounds like a motherfucker made it up, and it's really in the news. The FBI, our FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, said they don't know whose cocaine was at the White House. What? We don't know whose it is. It was in Hunter Biden's room. It said Hunter's blow on the bag. What do you mean, whose cocaine?
Here's the real reason. The internet doesn't care about truth. It cares about timing. And right now, the timing is perfect. When Diddy's legal issues became public, the algorithm went hunting. It started digging through old interviews, old podcasts, old stand-up bits, old warning-style clips, looking for anything that could be reframed as a prediction. In the moment it found Katt Williams saying, "Big deviants catch hell in 2024, it locked in. From the algorithm's perspective, that clip is gold. It doesn't matter what he actually meant. It doesn't matter that he wasn't talking about Diddy. It doesn't matter that he never named anyone. All that matters is it sounds prophetic. It sounds ominous. It sounds like a movie trailer line. And human psychology does the rest. Our brains are wired to look for patterns. We hate randomness. So when a scandal explodes, we go searching for someone who saw it coming. Not because they had inside knowledge, but because it makes chaos feel meaningful. This is called retroactive prophecy. Something vague is said in the past, then a big event happens later, and suddenly the vague thing becomes a prediction. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. If Diddy's case never happened, nobody would be replaying that Katt Williams clip. It would still be sitting on YouTube with 1 million views, not being called prophetic, not being called a warning, not being called an exposure. The algorithm boosts content that creates emotional spikes: shock, fear, anger, curiosity. Katt Williams' predicted Diddy downfall creates all four. Katt Williams talks about boundaries, creates none. So guess which one gets pushed? And then comes the remix culture. One creator clips it, another adds dramatic music, another adds a thumbnail with Diddy's face in flames, another adds text, "They knew," another adds, "He warned us." And within 48 hours, a normal interview moment becomes a conspiracy prophecy narrative. This isn't about Katt Williams. This is about us, about how badly we want a story to make sense, about how uncomfortable we are with coincidence, about how we mistake pattern for purpose. And there's one more reason this is happening now. Trust is collapsing. People don't believe celebrities, media, corporations, institutions. So when a scandal hits, they assume there's always more being hidden, and anyone who sounds even slightly like a whistleblower becomes a hero, even if they never claimed to be one. Katt Williams didn't predict the future. He didn't expose a criminal network. He didn't reveal secret crimes. What he did was talk honestly about uncomfortable industry culture. And when the industry finally stumbled into a scandal, people retrofitted his words to match the moment. So no, this isn't proof that Katt Williams had inside knowledge. This isn't evidence that he was warning us about Diddy. This isn't confirmation of secret tapes or hidden crimes. This is what happens when scandal meets old interviews and the algorithm turns coincidence into mythology. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody wants to hear it, but it's the truth. Katt Williams didn't expose a criminal conspiracy. He didn't reveal secret tapes. He didn't name names. And Diddy's legal troubles, they are real. They are public. They are documented. But they are not glamorous. They are not scandalous in the way social media made them seem.